They said believe means to accept that something is true,
Sometimes
especially without proof.
Yeah.
That's why, I think believe
especially without proof.
Yeah. That's what
I think
it's
that
most times without
that
immediate
reminds
proof.
me.
I think
I
that
Do you
saw.
understand?
if you
Because
look
now-
at, I think that belief and faith are almost the same thing, because if you look at the Bible in the book of Hebrews, faith is defined as the assurance of things hoped for but not yet seen.
It can be synonymous to believe.
There is this
but
video
I
of a
feel like-
Jamaican that was talking about you can only believe in something that you don't know and has no proof. Because if you know, you can't believe. Let me explain. Your dad, does he believe that you are his son or know that you are his son?
He knows. But that means we're now talking syntax. We're talking just language.
Because
Wait, I want to ask a question. Yeah, so you've heard this statement before. I believe in you. So, are you trying to insinuate that the person that says I believe in you has doubts too?
see, you can only believe where there is doubt, where there is room for doubt.
Yeah, kind of, man. Kind of.
Only
Cause-
when there is room for doubt.
Because there's no need
Okay.
to believe if it's fact. Do you get?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I believe you're a guy.
Okay, so that means
I know for a
That's
fact.
That means
not-
someone can take-
we're saying
someone can be
syntax.
annoyed if you
We're
say you
talking
believe in the person.
syntax in this.
No,
Because-
no, the
because
person
at
is
the
not
same time
saying they
you're doubting
doubt
the
you.
person.
No,
Do you understand?
they are not saying they doubt
no,
you.
no, no.
If the
No,
situation
no.
has room for
Caleb,
doubt,
Joshua, for example, if you're
that's
going,
when you can believe.
if you're going for like a bodybuilding competition, I can say I believe in you. There are a lot of
Well,
contestants.
I believe you can win.
A lot of people could win.
There's room
Yes.
for you to lose.
Yeah, there's room for you to learn. There's a proper chance.
I
you lose.
understand that concept. Actually, even agree that maybe 95% of the time, belief gives room for doubt.
Are you sure this one?
Yes, I get what the
I
enthusiast is saying.
understand that, yeah.
But I feel like
belief can be used synonymously as well in something that you have no doubt about. For instance, God.
But like, there's always this. Okay, for
Like
example,
if
Yes.
you ask EA
Yeah.
Adegoye, he says, "I believe
believe
in
in
God."
God. You know, this is
He
I know
doesn't
God.
have doubt
But there's room
Yes,
for
so
doubt.
in his life.
in his
Not
life,
in his
Good,
life.
but
In the
it's
general
not general
situation.
No, I
way.
understand in the general term.
See, because
That's
that's actually what the guy
Why
was
do we have to
explaining.
look
That's
at
actually
it?
what the guy was
Yeah.
explaining.
He
What
said,
The guy was
he
like,
said about
he
you
said
know
I
I'm black.
believe in God. You talk about
You don't believe I'm black.
God.
You
Okay,
understand?
okay.
But you believe in God.
Caleb,
You say he says he
Caleb.
believes in God. Good.
Caleb.
He has faith in God. Why? Now look at the definition of faith. It's the assurance of things hoped for but not yet seen.
Not yet seen.
So it means
Yeah.
that yeah, Buzi, you're saying something.
I was saying, so if you were to meet like someone who has no idea about like Christianity, and he says, what basis is your faith on? How do you know God exists? What are you going to say?
I explained this before we started. My own is simply, I don't understand how we can have intelligence or products of intelligence without intelligence.
Yeah.
We can't have something intelligent as the human race. You understand? Not to talk of
That's the genesis for it.
without somebody saying, let me create this to be intelligent. Because take note, yeah. Every other intelligent creature that, or let's not say creature, but every other intelligent creation, I'm talking technology now,
Mhm.
where we're in the age of artificial intelligence, was created by man. It didn't evolve randomly out of nowhere. You understand? We planted a seed and intelligence sprouted. So I don't see, it's like an evidence by negation. It's like if you can't prove one end of it, you understand, then the other one, it's now overwhelmingly more likely that the other one has to be true. There's this quote I like, this in the absence of I genuinely can't remember proper
Just paraphrase it.
well, it's something about when you eliminate the impossible, whatever is left, however improbable, must be the truth. You understand?
Sherlock.
Holmes, if you eliminate the possibility or the impossible facts that intelligent life arises randomly,
Yeah.
then as improbable as you might think it that there is a creator,
Mhm.
that's
That's
just
the
the only truth left. You understand? That's just the way. Like that for me is just the start, where I start from. Then I start layering in all these
You
other
understand what
points
you're
of
saying?
things.
So the guy says this, yeah, the Danny guy says this. His argument against religion has like one basic.
There's a difference.
Religion or Christianity?
No.
Argument
He
against-
says no. So he always starts with religion doesn't make sense.
Okay.
I can agree.
Yeah, that's what he says. Religion doesn't make sense. And he makes some
But that's where
interesting
faith
arguments.
comes in now.
He makes some interesting
That's where
arguments.
faith comes in.
Here's the thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're
There's a lot that is left to interpretation. Because, for example, a big issue he has is with the tithe thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the tithe thing has always been what's it called? A touchy subject because the Bible never explicitly said you're supposed to pay 10% of your.
But I think it
Bible
No,
Okay, so
it does- no.
in
Did.
the
Check-
book of
check
Acts,
it.
wasn't in the
It
book
never-
of like
in the book of
Levi
Acts,
or
Nah.
something.
yeah, they were
Melchizedek.
giving.
Melchizedek.
It never does.
In Malachi.
It never does. I've checked every verse they said. Check it. You can check it out. It never said you're supposed to pay 10% of what you made. The first people that paid tithes here, the idea was, I read
It was
exactly.
I
See,
think
they were giving tithe in the early church so that the
There was a
poor
reason.
people in their
Exactly.
house would not
Thank
lack.
you.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
reason
yeah.
for
That's what I'm
tithe.
saying in
Yeah, so
Leviticus.
it was like a
Someone should
culture.
open
And
It's
it
their
just
was
that,
not-
it's just that
before
now
that,
it has
before
shifted.
that,
And it was not like.
Someone should open their Bible in
You
Leviticus
see, nobody has a
27
Bible.
verse 30.
Nobody has a Bible.
I'm
I'm
with
with
on
my
his phone
laptop,
now.
You
bro.
see it. You see it.
I'm with my
Leviticus
laptop.
what?
I have a Bible inside.
27 verse 30.
I have a Bible inside.
The guy, you cannot open the Bible. The girl don't know.
Only unlock your Samsung.
27 verse 30.
Yeah, 27 verse 30.
But Buzi,
Yeah.
the first evidence of tithing here
Mhm.
was way before that.
Wait now.
Let's look at this 27 verse 30. So Joshua, what do you see there?
The guy
The
did
tithe
that.
of everything from the land, whether grain from the soil
Mhm.
or fruits from the trees, belongs to the Lord. It is holy to the Lord. NIV.
He never spoke about the percentage. What did the
He
percentage
didn't
come
speak
from?
about the percentage.
Let me
We
show
spoke
you.
about
Well,
tithe.
Open. I think was it Melchizedek?
Now they
Malachi.
said
The first.
No,
I mean, like the first person who gave tithe. Sorry, the first.
No, it does. It
Yes.
does. It does say
Yes.
percent. It says
It
a tenth.
tenth.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
in Malachi, yeah.
you understand.
Leviticus.
Leviticus.
Wait, I know there is also a passage in
Let me check.
Malachi that says.
So the Bible is
something like
specific. Now the
No,
problem
no,
now
but it
is
doesn't-
the
wait, let
reason
me
for
open
it that
this.
has really changed. That's what people have thwarted. I
And
believe so.
from what I read
Oh,
it,
God, I don't
it was
understand
more
this.
like a law
The
of
New
the
Testament.
people.
Mm.
It was more like a law for the people. Do you
I
get?
think
It
you're
wasn't.
wondering more why it didn't stop.
It was
with the
said
people
it.
of
Yeah,
Israel and
yeah.
it has spread.
So it has now become like 10% of your salary belongs to.
Mm.
Do you get?
Okay, now I feel like they say it's not like it's anything you have. Yeah, people just prefer giving salaries because that's what they. You can if you're a farmer,
See.
instead of bringing your salary, you can bring
Yeah.
your yams.
Buzi,
Just like if you're a shepherd, you can bring your
see,
flock.
during the encounter, Melchizedek attributes Abraham's victory to God and he blesses Abraham. Abraham responds to the blessing in gratitude and gives Melchizedek a tenth of all his possessions.
So it's just that people just choose. Okay,
The
they
word
want to give their
tithe,
Well,
salary.
yeah,
by
but-
definition,
Yeah.
is
But
derived
what
from
I
the
said
people
still
of the
stands.
end.
That's-
This was
yeah.
never an instruction to
Help
Christians.
me.
Christianity is
It was never an
sprung from
instruction
where?
to Christians.
No, see,
From
yeah,
the first Christians were people they were called the first
Okay,
Christians were.
do we take every
that's what
practice?
I get where
do we take every
David is
practice
coming
from like a couple of people and
I get where
make
David
it
is-
like
I get where
a
he's
Okay, let me
coming
tell you
Standard for
something. Okay,
Christians.
That's
the
actually,
first
I was waiting
Christians
for him
were.
to finish.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
will
yeah.
say.
What I'm saying, you said for Christians, Abi.
yeah.
So the first Christians were the name Christians is like followers of Christ, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, the first Christians were the disciples. At one point, when after Jesus died, people were calling them Christians because they are okay. These people that is follow.
They are
People that is,
Christ-like.
yeah, you understand. That's the
Mhm.
idea from. And people that go to church are Christians. Okay, in quote, people that go to church are Christians.
Mhm.
Yeah. So they believe that okay. So the instructions that were given to these disciples are the same things we should follow. You understand? The Bible is like a constitution for the church. Yeah. So if this is written in the church, you're like, okay, so
Okay.
they did this,
Okay.
let's do it too.
Great.
Sober.
Okay.
This the whole tithe thing, but
Mhm.
I feel like the controversy comes from how some preachers about it.
Prioritize,
You
exactly.
understand? Because there are preachers that tell you that you cannot make heaven if you're not giving tithes. I've literally heard it.
Yeah.
They tell you, how can you not give tithe and expect God to bless you? There was never even in the mention of tithes in the Bible. See, I really need to remember the Malachi verse. Maybe probably after this I'll look for it. Or even call Moses, because I know there was the whole 110 something there. But it was never a give and take this thing. It wasn't like okay, yeah, I think in Malachi said something to paraphrase, when you bring your tent to the Lord, your one.
Malachi chapter 3 verse 10. Joshua,
Okay, you know it, yeah?
I'm seeing it and I've heard it. It's basically that, like, test me on this and see that I will not bless you or something of that nature.
So it's the same thing as children obey your parents in the Lord.
But this is
Longest command and the only commandment with the promise.
Yeah.
You know. So if people are disobeying their parents, and they are still going, why is it that when it comes to the tithing thing, they now make it look like, if you no pay tithe, bam, your life don't end.
Okay.
Your blessings don't cease.
I want to
say
speak on what
something.
Joshua said. Joshua said the whole thing about the first Christians, so we should adopt them. So there's a lot in the Old Testament. If a woman has slept with anyone that is not her husband, she's supposed to be brought out and be stoned. So do you accept that we should adopt that as well? If you wear two pieces of different material, you're sinning.
You're not supposed to shake the
You're not
size
supposed
of
to
your
shake
head.
the size of your head.
Yes.
So if we're adopting everything, that was in practice then, it would be, we know it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
I feel the tithe thing is a strong topic because
It's financial.
Exactly.
It's
because
financial.
Okay,
I
so
think
this tithe
giving
stuff
to
now.
God is something we all should do. But I agree that the expectation that has been created by some preachers, that if you don't have enough to give, or if you don't give or scrape your bank account out to give, you're doomed for hell.
They make it like a basis for prosperity. That without tithing, you will not make heaven, or you won't.
I
make
honestly don't know his name. I just stumbled across his videos on
Do you want me
Twitter
to read
once in a while.
the verse you were looking for?
Yeah, you can go ahead and read it.
It's New Living Translation. Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, so there will be enough food in my temple. If you do, says the Lord of heaven's armies, I will open the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out a blessing so great you won't have enough room to take it in. Try it.
So
Not me to the
so
test.
now the tithes now for those who no get for church, those members in the church that actually lack. It's supposed to be okay. You bring it and then they find a way to them.
Which
Now
I
I'll
have
come
no
back.
problem.
I'll come back to that. Now there's this preacher here that he explained something on tithe, and I don't know whether I accepted it because it's agreed with me, or if it was okay. Here's what he said. He said there were a lot of things that Jesus dying on the cross. He ended, and then other things he kind of like changed. You understand? Like the veil in the temple, tearing it to give direct access to God. There were some things that now having to go and sacrifice animals, you no longer have to do that because he was the ultimate sacrifice. You understand? Now he spoke about tithes on that. He said tithing now doesn't have to be 10%. It has to be from how well you can give, from the generosity of your heart. You understand? Because if you give 9%, if you say, okay, tithe 10%, if you give 9%, that means it's not tithe. And if you give 11%, that means it's not tithe. So are you saying that anyone that wants to give tithe has to give exactly 10%? Imagine wanting to give to the church and then they lay it on your heart, like God lays it on your heart to give, let's say, 200,000 naira. And the 200,000 is, let's say, like 20% of whatever you got. What does that make it? Is this still tight? Or so it's a very touchy subject. Now about I said I'll come back to it. The giving so that the people in the church will have. Yeah, something happened last year. there is okay, I don't even want to call the name of the stuff because people that know it will know the church. So well, there's something they do during Christmas where you donate and then they give to the poor within the church. I don't know if they extend it to people outside the church, right? So I did that last year. Okay, when I went to give, it was actually my first time taking part. I decided to go financial because some people bring rice and all that, right? So when I went to give, my mom was like, okay, she'll go with me because she wants me to meet the pastor directly, so that he can, say a couple of prayers for me as well. So we went, and then there were a lot of people waiting to see him. So we sat, we took a number, we sat, and then she was talking to one of the assistant pastors that knows her very well. I was like, no, that she didn't come for counseling, she came with her son that we want to give to the program. And then they were like, we don't have to wait now, let's go inside. So she was going and she called me. So I was following her. They let her through, they heard me, she was like, no, he's with me. They now let me through. We entered and the pastor was just sitting there. It wasn't like he was attending to anybody, right? So we saw him, we gave him, we spoke, he said prayers, we left, right? And my mom was like, a lot of people were there waiting. And these guys don't want to let people in to go and see the pastor. It's not right. Like he's there because that is what he's supposed to. So now, see the problem there. People are now making someone there now, we be say maybe in wait the whole day, in office the pastor. He's going to go home with a different with a different mindset. You understand? About how it is to meet God and all that. To go through to meet a man of God and all that you get. Now that wasn't really a bother for me because even at people's offices they do that. So I no reason now. So I was talking to her this year and I was like, I feel like this year do more. Like aside the cash, I want to also like get like a bag of rice, get oil, get like drinks so that they give to people. And she was like, she would suggest I do that to someone directly.
It's all putting it through the church.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, but how come? And she said she spoke with someone that is in that unit where they take those things and share. And the person was like, at the end of the day, now the pastors, they carry those things go as well. That when you go, because you have to apply for them to give it to you. Now they now have to check, okay, are you really poor? Do you really need this? Okay, when they check and see that, okay, you actually are one of the less privileged and you need it, they now start a different kind of check. How often are you in church? Do you belong to any house fellowship? Do you go for evangelism and all that? He said even him that works in the unit, when he needed, that the way they turned down before he finally got it. And the whole thing, guy, body weak for me because I just felt like, why have I been given? Because I felt, okay, because I didn't know anyone directly that I was like, okay, this person are less privileged, make I give. Aside the beggars you see, you understand? So I felt, okay, since there's a system set up, make I just key into one. And then I just felt like, so now, one pastor family, I don't defend the things I've been
That's the problem.
I understand.
That's the problem.
Feels.
That's the problem. For me, this is my problem with religion. The basis of Christianity is love.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in every situation, love should be the standard for action. Do you understand? If that is it, why does the person need to be involved in evangelism? And love, as Jesus made it, was, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't even matter if you believe or not. A lot of people he interacted with in the Bible, from like the
Gentiles, the Jews,
the prostitute woman.
the
He was
tax
always he was always
regardless.
Regardless of whoever
or who you were.
He was for everyone, and that's the problem today. For me, with the religious whoever, it has become so political in the sense that if you do not belong, you're not regarded as a. Do you get it?
I understand.
It's
I understand
crazy,
that criticism, but one angle I'll point out in that direction is that even in all of that, Jesus still had the central goal in mind of bringing them to him.
Yeah, no.
But that's what will bring
I have
them to
no
him.
problem.
No,
That's what will
see,
bring.
wait.
See, Akra.
On that
I
one,
understand.
okay, yes.
So,
see.
so that evangelism might be viewed as an act of love.
Yes. Okay,
You
Akra. Let me tell you
understand?
something, Akra.
No,
Let me tell you
it's
something.
like you don't get what
He
Boozy
said
is saying.
actions speak
Boozy
better
is
than
saying,
words.
Boozy
Yeah?
is saying, Boozy is saying, why does someone that brought to the church for assistance need to
Need
have
to
gone
have-
through like
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
partake-
my point.
they're
Yeah.
taking
I
part in
understand. I agree
evangelism?
with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that angle.
Mhm.
Yeah. If a person needs help, they need help.
Regardless
help.
of
You understand?
where they
It
are
doesn't
from.
matter whether they are an atheist, a Muslim,
Yeah.
a Christian. As far as you can help as a Christian, your guide is love. You should help.
And when Boozy said
You understand? But-
okay.
But still, there might be a need to have. I don't agree with the way the church went about it, yeah, because it's just there's a lot of politicizing of those things,
Yeah.
yeah. But I remember the part where Jesus gave this parable or analogy, where he was like, "Oh, why would I take the food for the children of God or the
And give it to
children?
the dog."
I give it to the dogs."
Yes.
He's not calling anybody dogs. He's just trying to
Okay.
give like maybe a mental picture of
Mhm.
what that might be like in like the message he was sent
Yeah.
to deliver. It was the people of God that were supposed to now take it out. It wasn't
Yeah.
Jesus that
But
was
Akra, but
supposed to
remember I
travel
replied too, yeah.
to Judea. Yes, I remember I
Good.
replied. I agree. I remember I replied.
Yes.
So maybe
So I feel like he.
I feel like I'm working through this as I'm talking about it. Maybe the conversation, I guess, is that Jesus is the only person allowed to make that distinction.
So let me say something about
Maybe.
this love thing.
I
Boozy
But
was talking
don't-
about.
Bible also tells us to not judge, so
True.
we cannot be making that.
But
decision.
but do not judge must have a limit though.
I didn't get you.
So
Do
what?
not judge must have a limit. It's not in this. It's not in this specific situation.
Mhm.
Because it's not right to discriminate someone that needs help simply because he's not a Christian. That one is just
Yeah.
purely wrong. But do not judge. There has to be a point where you're like, I love you, but
Oh no, I get that.
yeah.
No.
And when you say that doesn't
definitely.
make judgment.
Mm?
When you put it out, that doesn't make it judgment.
When you put it like how?
When you said I love you, but I think
No, you've heard the expression. Oh, using a but not negates
Negates
it
everything.
negates
said.
everything you said previously. That's a sentiment people have. One way I see judgment as, yeah, I see judgment as something you can say or imply about a person that can carry weight. You have to have some sort of authority over somebody. It can be a formal or informal authority. A parent can judge you. You understand? Where like you're going to that church again, or you're
Mhm.
seeing this woman again. You understand?
Yeah.
And then he puts his weight behind that decision. You understand? And then it affects you negatively. I feel there are some people that by definition can judge you, or they can look at you and in their head they're like, I'm better than this one.
Uh-huh.
You understand? I feel those are like the two criteria I use to be like, oh, this person is being judged.
Yeah.
If a person tells you, I think this is wrong, so I don't feel that's judging.
yeah, I don't think that's
You
judgment.
understand? I don't think it's judging, but there are a lot of people that will be like, oh, you're judging me.
Everybody's to them sensitive nowadays.